You're more than welcome to call me a hater. All I'm asking is, how the hell do you make a bald werewolf? Let me explain. This is the 2025 very over-advertised film Wolfman from Blumhouse. A movie on the precipice that it could have been really fucking cool, but they tried to cram it into less than 2 hours. And so, unfortunately, it just becomes one of the funniest films of the year instead. Or sappy, depending on how you feel about it. But I'm generally not a sappy person, so for me it was kind of funny. Anyways, let's get into it. We open up to an off-the-grid farm in Oregon. There's a little blurb about how in 1995 this guy went missing in the Oregon woods, and they found him and he had something called wolf face. So there's an older guy who's a veteran and his son live on this off-the-grid farm. And it does that really annoying thing where if said parent is a vet, they're going to raise their children like they're enlisted. Broski, I am the daughter of an old salt. Most of my friends are children of retirees, or they're enlisted themselves and have children. My point being is I hate this fucking stereotype because out of everybody I know and in my own experience, nobody fucking does that. I mean, there probably are some people, and maybe there are aspects in my life that other people would think are fucking weird. But for the most part, any enlisted parents I know want to leave that at the door. They don't want that in their home. That is their career, not their families. But whatever, that's not actually important to the story. It bugs me. Okay, so they're going hunting through the woods. His dad's aiming at a deer. Meanwhile, the little boy tried to aim at what he thought was the deer, but then it's like a silhouette of a thing. And his dad's yelling at him, but then he kind of sees it, so they had to run up into this deer blind. And whatever it was tried to attack them, but then the dad scared it off. And that's that. Cut to 30 years later. Which confused me because I was like, okay, so did we start off in modern day? Or are we starting off in 1995? And then when it says 30 years later, it's like, oh, okay, so we were back in the 90s. But I guess this would be in the future because 30 years later. But then I realized 30 years from 1995 is in fact 2025. Because I'll be 30 this year. I hate this. Anyway, the little boy is now grown up. He's got a daughter. They had some sort of daddy-daughter date across the city or whatever. She wants ice cream. He's like, nah. And then she decides she's going to climb on top of those fucking barriers. I don't know what you call them. Like the roadblocky things are orange. You'd like put them on the side of the road for road work. But she's climbing on top of those when directly to the left is fucking oncoming traffic. She finally jumps off. He yells at her and then apologizes. Which, I don't know, maybe I'd just be a bad parent, but if you're about to fall into oncoming traffic, I think it's okay to yell. There's a time and a place. Anyway, moving forward. His wife comes home, brings a letter. Apparently his dad's been missing for years, but they finally decided to declare him dead and left him the keys to the whole farm. And so they get a moving truck and they're going to go move all that shit out of his house. So they get lost in the woods and there's a guy that's in that deer stand from the beginning. But it turns out that the main guy grew up with him and they're friends with him. The friend offers the main guy to give him directions to the cabin if he can drive along. And main guy's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And the wife's like, no, don't do that. He has a gun. Yeah, because we're in the woods. That's a hunting stand, ma'am. So they're driving along. It's getting dark out. Something dodges out in front of the moving van. It looks like a people. Main guy swerves to miss it and goes off the fucking cliff. And now the moving van is stuck in a tree. This is the part from the commercial. So the friend goes to open the fucking door. And in the commercial, it looks like he just fell down the fucking cliff. He fell maybe 4 feet. Maybe 4 feet. But instead of going down that way, we decided to go the hard way and climb up the side of the truck so that we could get to the top. And then the monster thing ate the friend that was on the ground and it started chasing them, except we don't actually see it. But they managed to run all the way to the farmhouse and get inside. Now here's where it gets funny, but also rough all at the same time. Because you're not going to see the monster for another probably 30 minutes or so. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you about the part about halfway through the woods when they're running and the little girl's like, I can't run anymore. So dad has to pick her up and run through the woods with her. Which, if you have small children, okay, but I feel like my dad would have just been like, you better fucking move your legs before you get ate. The fuck you mean your legs are tired, you can't go no more? And she wasn't little. But anyway, they get to the farmhouse. The lights are off, because, off-grid and whatnot. And dad is going to go fix the generator. Meanwhile, mom and little girl are just going to sit in a recliner the whole time. Not let's make sure the rest of the house is safe. Not let's find a good hiding spot. Let's just sit in this recliner. Not arming ourselves, nothing. Anyway, so the lights come on. They're gonna tuck the little girl on the couch that's in the room directly to the left of the front door. Now, Dad's gonna start moving furniture in front of the front door because he's worried that the scary monster thing that they don't know what it is going to be able to crash through because it's a wooden door. And I mean, he's moving like a big ass china cabinet and everything else, and the wife's just staring at him. No help at all. Not let me give you a hand, not, hey, let's put some more furniture in front of it. We're just going to stare at you while you do it. As a matter of fact, she got mouthy. She's like, are you sure that's going to do it? Are you sure that's going to keep him from getting in? I'm sorry, ma'am. What the fuck are you doing to help? Please tell me what singular thing you have done to help thus fucking far. But they leave the little girl on the couch to sleep next to the door that they don't know the furniture is going to hold. And they go down to the basement where there's no windows and it's safe. So they're in the basement, they got a ham radio going, trying to talk to anybody, and Dad's all like, what's that smell? He goes and he finds an old meat locker, which I guess his dad still had like meat curing in there before he went missing, which I don't think they said how long he was missing. I'm assuming it's a long ass time. But he comes out and he's like, I found my dad's old beef jerky, and eats a piece. You just said, what's that smell? Like it was stinky. And your dad's been gone a long time. That meat's just been fucking hanging there. And you're just gonna pick up an old ass piece of beef jerky and eat it. I call bullshit. I call bullshit that this was fucking a wolfman or a werewolf or whatever the fuck you want to call it. No, okay, you found a piece of beef jerky that's been out since God knows when, and you fucking ate it, and now you probably got listeria mixed with Lyme disease mixed with fucking rabies. But whatever, and then his tooth fell out because presumably it was fucking crunchy. But then come to find out his arm was bleeding. He thought he got cut on some glass, but I guess it's an animal scratch. Well, he goes back upstairs to nail down some boards in front of the door to help keep it secure. And he hits his fingernail, and his fingernail falls off. And he stands up, and he sees his daughter, like, standing in the doorway from where she was asleep. And he's like, why are you still up? It's after midnight. Go back to bed. She just stands there staring at him. His wife comes up from the basement, and she's just standing there staring at him. And he's like, were you able to get anybody on the radio? And instead of answering, she just stares at him. Like, the little girl woke up because you're fucking hammering shit. But also, why are they just unable to fucking respond? I understand he looks crazy, but I don't understand what we're accomplishing by just staring at him. So Dad goes to sleep on the couch. Daughter is moved down to the basement to sleep while her mom tries to work the radio to get them some help so that he can get to a doctor because he's looking fucking rough. He's got some like night sweats going. He done lost a tooth. He done lost a fingernail. And now he's got some cool ass wolf powers where he can like hear really well and see really well. Like he went upstairs to see what the hell some loud noise was and come to find out it was just a fucking spider, but it's really loud to him because he's got wolf hearing. Then he goes down in the basement to see his wife. His wife turns around to look at him. He just pee-pees himself. So they put him back into bed. And he's getting worse. Now he's got the shakes and his hair's falling out and more teeth are falling out. He thinks he's dying, which he looks like he got radiation poisoning, honestly. Like, these are all the symptoms of radiation exposure. Well, the wife sees a truck outside and thinks that's a good escape. So she goes downstairs to find the keys. And conveniently, right next to the keys is a battery with a pair of fucking, jumper cables. And so we all decide we're going to go outside, which is fine. She connects the battery to the jumper cables. First off, we didn't even check to see if we needed them. I mean, presumably, but maybe not. Secondly, she didn't even give it time to charge. Like, she plugged it in automatically and then just went to turn it over. And I mean, it was cranking. It just wasn't completely turning over. So I don't think it's your battery. I'm fairly certain that's your alternator. But they finally get it to work. But the real horror in this whole movie is how she takes off the fucking jumper cables. She takes them off the charging battery first and then the car battery. You know, instead of keeping them separate, she just jumbles them all in her hand real quick. So you know she got shocked the shit out of. But then, like in the commercial, they're backing out and the other Wolfman shows up. Which, by the way, it looks exactly like the Jack Link Sasquatch. Like, almost exactly. And wouldn't you know, surprise! Jack Link's Wolfman is the dad of the other Wolfman, which by this point looks like fucking the Ron Perlman beast, but with a bald head. So Ron Perlman Wolfman takes out Sasquatch Wolfman. Then the family is running away from him. They end up in the deer blind, and he's basically like, please kill me. So they kill, and it ends with them looking at a beautiful scenery of Oregon. The end. Now, did I like it? Oh, it's a hot mess. I mean, it's a January horror release, so I didn't have high expectations at all. But I do love a good hot mess. So no, it's not good, but I had a fun time. And if you can make me laugh, that wins major award points. Also, the little vision as like a werewolf is really cool looking. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. It's not great, but I'm not complaining. So 5 out of 10. Okay, bye. Tale as old as time. Don't eat the fucking beef jerky. It was really a finger or a toe. How did you not know? It had a fingernail.